The rain hammered the roof of the old frat house like it was trying to drown out the bass thumping from the speakers inside. I stumbled into the kitchen, chasing the blur of too many cheap beers, only to find Hunter blocking the door. His broad frame silhouetted against the flickering string lights, eyes locked on mine with an intensity that made my stomach drop. "Elias," he said, voice low and rough, like gravel under tires. "I've been lying to everyone, especially your sister, for years. It's you. It's always been you." That moment hung there, suspended in the sticky heat of the party, the kind of heat that clings to your skin like regret. The kitchen was a war zone of red Solo cups and half-eaten pizza slices, the air thick with the scent of spilled beer and desperation. Hunter's hand shot out, not grabbing me, but pressing against the doorframe just inches from my head, caging me in without touching. His breath was warm against my cheek, carrying the faint tang of whiskey, and for a split second, I forgot how to breathe. I was Elias Harper, 22 years old, a junior at the University of Washington in Seattle, majoring in environmental science because it let me hide in the woods when the world got too loud. Growing up in Ridge Valley, a speck of a town tucked into the evergreen arms of the Olympic Peninsula, I'd learned early how to fade into the background. My family was the Harpers. Dad, a stoic logger with hands like sandpaper and a heart softer than he let on. Mom, who baked pies that could fix a bad day but couldn't fix the cracks in our lives. My little sister, Lila, with her wild curls and dreams bigger than our budget. And me, the quiet one, the fixer, the one who patched up scraped knees and broken promises. Lila had been obsessed with Hunter Kane since we were kids. He was the golden boy of Ridge Valley High, captain of the football team, valedictorian in the making, with that easy grin that made teachers forgive tardiness and girls forget their dignity. He lived 2 doors down in a house that always smelled like fresh-cut pine from his dad's mill. Lila would drag me to his games, whispering about how he'd notice her one day, how they'd run off to the city lights. I went along because that's what big brothers do, but deep down, I watched him for reasons I couldn't name. The way his shoulders flexed under his jersey, the quiet intensity in his eyes when he thought no one was looking. It wasn't right, I told myself. It was just admiration, safe from afar. We'd all scattered after graduation. Lila to community college in Tacoma, chasing nursing. Me to Seattle, where the rain matched my moods. Hunter to UW on a partial scholarship, undeclared but drifting toward business like it was the only path that made sense. Fate, or whatever cruel joke the universe plays, put us on the same campus. I'd spot him in the quad sometimes, laughing with a rotating cast of bros, his laugh booming like thunder over the Puget Sound. We'd nod, exchange small talk about Ridge Valley winters or the latest Mariners loss. Polite, distant, until tonight. The party was at Sigma Chi, a sprawling Victorian on Greek Row that looked haunted on sober days. I'd come because my roommate, Theo, a wiry art major with a tattoo of Frida Kahlo on his calf, dragged me out, insisting I needed to live a little before midterms crushed us. Theo was out there somewhere, probably charming some sorority girl with his terrible poetry. Me? I was hiding in the kitchen, nursing a lukewarm PBR, when Hunter appeared like a storm cloud rolling in. "Elias," he repeated, his voice cutting through the din like a knife. Up close, he was even more disarming, 6'2" of solid muscle from years of chopping wood and hitting the gym, his jaw shadowed with stubble that made him look older than 23. His eyes, that impossible blue-green like the Strait of Juan de Fuca on a clear day, pinned me in place. "We need to talk. Now." I swallowed hard, my throat dry despite the beer. "Hunter, man, it's a party. Whatever it is, it can wait." But my voice cracked, betraying me, and his gaze softened, just a fraction, like he saw right through the lie. He leaned in closer, his flannel shirt brushing my arm, sending a jolt straight to my core. "It can't. Not anymore." His fingers twitched, like he wanted to touch me but thought better of it. "Lila, she's coming here next weekend, right? For that family dinner thing your mom planned." I nodded, the mention of her name twisting something in my gut. Lila had called last week. bubbling about how excited she was to see everyone, how she'd finally mustered the courage to ask Hunter out for coffee. She'd been texting him nonstop since he posted a throwback pic from high school on Instagram. Him and her at prom. Her in a poofy blue dress, him looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. I'd seen the messages on her phone when she left it charging at home over summer break. Heart emojis. Inside jokes. Hope. Yeah, I managed. She's hyped. Hunter's face darkened, a shadow crossing those eyes. I can't do this to her. To you. He glanced over his shoulder, as if expecting the walls to sprout ears. The party raged on beyond us. Laughter, a crash of glass, someone yelling about shots. But in this corner, it was just us, the air electric with unsaid words. I pushed past him then, needing air, needing space. Whatever it is, Hunter, figure it out before you break her heart. My words came out sharper than I meant, laced with a jealousy I didn't want to acknowledge. I shoved through the crowd, the bass vibrating in my chest like a second heartbeat, and burst onto the back porch. The rain had eased to a drizzle, misting the air with that earthy Seattle scent, wet leaves and distant salt from the sound. I lit a cigarette, an old habit from freshman year I kept hidden from everyone but Theo. The first drag burned, grounding me. What the hell was that? Hunter Kane, the straight-arrow jock who'd dated half the cheer squad in high school, cornering me like I held some secret key to his universe. It didn't make sense. Unless... Footsteps creaked behind me. I didn't turn. Elias, wait. Go back inside, Hunter. Find someone else to unload on. He stopped a foot away, close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off him despite the chill. There is no one else. His voice was raw, stripped bare. God, I've been an idiot. All those years watching you at games, helping Lila with homework when she'd drag you over. I thought it was her, the crush, the pull. But it was you, hiding in plain sight, with your books and your sketches, and that way you look at the stars like they're telling you secrets. My hand froze mid-drag, the smoke curling lazy between us. Sketches? I doodled in the margins of my notebooks back home. Landscapes? Sure, but faces too. His face, more than once, erased hastily before anyone saw. You're drunk? I whispered, but it sounded like a plea. I'm sober enough to know I've fucked this up. He stepped closer, rain beating on his lashes. I dated girls to prove it wrong, joined the frat to bury it, even flirted with Lila last summer because it felt safe, close to you without crossing the line. But seeing you here in Seattle, it's like I've been holding my breath since we were 16. The cigarette fell from my fingers, hissing out in a puddle. My heart hammered, a wild thing caged too long. This was Hunter, Lila's Hunter, Dad's fishing buddy, the guy who'd punched a senior for calling me a fag behind my back in sophomore year. Protector. Straight. Impossible. And yet, when his hand finally found my arm, tentative, electric, I didn't pull away. The porch light flickered, casting us in gold and shadow, and for the first time, the rain felt like it was washing something clean. We didn't kiss that night. Not yet. Instead, he talked. Hours, it felt like, perched on the splintered porch swing as the party wound down inside. He spoke of the weight of expectations in Ridge Valley, where men were measured by calluses and conquests, not the quiet ache of wanting what you shouldn't. How he'd wake up from dreams tangled in sheets, your name, my name, on his lips, only to shove it down with push-ups and pick-up games. How Lila's crush was a convenient shield, a way to orbit our family without admitting the truth. I listened, my own secrets spilling out in fits and starts. Coming out to Theo in a dorm room blackout, the relief of it. The fear of telling my folks, who loved fiercely but clung to the old ways. The loneliness of hookups in Seattle's underbelly. Dark bars off Capitol Hill, bodies that meant nothing because they weren't him. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, painting the frat house in watery light. Hunter stood, stretching, his shirt riding up to reveal a sliver of tan skin above his belt. "What now?" he asked, voice hoarse. I stood too closer than friends should. We tell Lila. Together. She deserves that. He nodded, but doubt flickered in his eyes. And if she hates us? She won't. I hoped it was true. Lila was fire and forgiveness, but this could douse her light. We exchanged numbers. Stupid, after all these years, and he walked me to my bus stop, the city waking around us in honks and steam from manhole covers. As the 48 pulled up, sputtering, he squeezed my shoulder. Friday. Dinner. I'll be there. I boarded, sinking into a seat by the fogged window, watching him shrink in the distance. My phone buzzed. A text from Lila. Can't wait for the fam reunion. Tell Hunter hi for me? Heart emoji. Guilt twisted like a knife. But beneath it, something bloomed. Hope, fragile as new leaves after winter. Seattle stretched out, all steel and secrets, and for the first time I felt like I belonged in it. The week blurred by in lectures and labs, the forest ecology prof droning about salmon runs while my mind replayed Hunter's confession on loop. Theo noticed, of course. Dude, you're glowing like you got laid by a woodland sprite. He teased over ramen in our cramped apartment off the Ave, posters of Bosky, peeling from the walls. I deflected with a laugh, but inside, I was unraveling. What if this was a phase for him? A college experiment before he settled into the straight life? Wife and kids in some suburb? I'd seen it happen to friends, whirlwind romances ending in ghosting and shame. Friday arrived with a vengeance. Skies dumping sheets of rain that turned the streets to rivers. Mom had rented an Airbnb in Ballard, a cozy craftsman with a view of the locks, where salmon leaped like they were escaping their own dramas. Dad grilled salmon, fresh from Pike Place, and Lila arrived first, train from Tacoma, hugging me like we'd been apart years, not months. Eli, you look different, good different. She poked my cheek, her curls frizzing in the humidity. 20, fierce, with Mom's eyes and Dad's stubborn chin. Spill. Boy, girl, alien. I ruffled her hair. Just school. And rain. She rolled her eyes but let it slide, chattering about clinical rotations and a disastrous blind date. Then the door buzzed, Hunter early, bearing wine and that grin. Lila lit up like the fourth. Hunter. Oh my God. It's been forever. She launched into a hug, and he returned it awkwardly, shooting me a glance over her shoulder. Panic? Regret? Dinner was torture wrapped in small talk. Dad regaled us with tales of a stubborn cedar that fought the chainsaw like a demon. Mom fussed over plates, her laughter a bomb. Lila sat between us, oblivious, her foot nudging Hunter's under the table in what she thought was flirtation. I poked at my potatoes, the salmon turning to ash in my mouth. After dessert, Mom's blackberry cobbler, warm and tart, Lila suggested a walk to the locks. Come on, for old time's sake. Remember that summer we skipped rocks till dark? We bundled into raincoats, the four of us trudging the slick path, boats chugging through the Ballard locks like mechanical beasts. Lila linked arms with Hunter, her voice bright. So, UW treating you okay? Any cute co-eds? He cleared his throat, glancing at me. It's complicated. She laughed. Boys and their egos. Eli, back me up. Hunter's always been too picky. I forced a smile. Yeah, picky. The path curved, Dad and Mom pulling ahead, hands clasped like teenagers. Lila slowed, turning to Hunter with that earnest look she got when she wanted something real. Hey, coffee sometime? Just us. The words hung, and time stretched thin. Hunter stopped, rain pattering his hood. Lila, I need to be honest. Her face fell just a touch. Oh, you're seeing someone. He nodded, slow. Yeah, but not like that. Not a girl. The world tilted. Lila's eyes widened, flicking to me, then back. Wait, what? Hunter's hand found mine in the shadows of our coats, brief, burning. It's Elias. Silence, then a gasp. Not anger, shock, pure. My brother? You. And Eli? I braced for the storm, but Lila just stared, rain streaking her face. How long? Years, Hunter said softly. I was too scared to see it. She turned to me, eyes searching. You knew. I shook my head. Not till last week. The locks groaned open nearby, water rushing like a confession. Lila wiped her face. Rain or tears, I couldn't tell. This is, wow. I crushed hard, but if it's real. She trailed off, then punched Hunter's arm, light. You better treat him right, Kane, or I'll sick Dad on you. Relief crashed over me, wave after wave. We walked back in a huddle, arms linked, the rain easing to mist. But as we reached the house, Lila pulled me aside. You happy, Eli? I nodded, throat tight, terrified. But yeah. She hugged me fierce. Good. You deserve it. That night, after parents crashed early, Hunter and I slipped out to the backyard, string lights twinkling like stars. He kissed me there, under the dripping cedar, tentative at first, then deep, like he'd been starving. His hands in my hair, my back against the rough bark. It was messy, urgent, tasting of cobbler and truth. We didn't go further. Not yet. But as we broke apart, foreheads pressed, he whispered, This is it. For real. I believed him. In that moment, with Seattle humming around us, I did. The weeks that followed were a fever dream, the kind where reality blurs with what you've always wanted but never dared imagine. Hunter and I navigated it like thieves in the night, stolen hours in his off-campus apartment in Fremont, a converted garage with exposed beams and a mattress on the floor that smelled like him, pine and sweat. We'd text in code during the day, lab run at 3, meaning meet at the Arboretum, where we'd tangle on a blanket amid ferns. His laughter muffled against my neck as squirrels chattered overhead. Lila became our unlikely ally, texting memes about brotherly love gone wild, and covering for us at family calls. Eli's buried in finals, Mom, she'd say, while I was actually buried under Hunter's weight, exploring the map of his body with hands that trembled from awe. She even dragged Theo into the fold one night over wings at a dive bar in Belltown, swearing him to secrecy with a pinky promise. Theo, ever the romantic, sketched us in his notebook, caricatures with hearts for eyes, before launching into a soliloquy on queer icons that left us in stitches. But bliss has teeth. It nips at the edges, drawing blood when you least expect. Hunter's frat brothers started noticing his absences, the way he'd bail on keggers with lame excuses about studying. One night, after a particularly grueling practice, he showed up at my door with a split lip and knuckles raw, eyes stormy. Wyatt, he spat, collapsing onto my couch, a threadbare thing Theo had salvaged from a stoop sale. Wyatt was his pledge brother, a hulking linebacker from Texas with a drawl that charmed until it didn't. Cornered me in the showers. Said he'd seen us at the market last week. You handing me that apple like some rom-com bullshit. I fetched ice, wrapping it in a dish towel, pressing it to his jaw. What did you say? Told him to fuck off. Hunter winced, but his hand covered mine, holding it there. He laughed, called it a phase. Said I'd ruin the house rep. Rage simmered in my chest, hot and unfamiliar. Then leave the damn frat. His eyes met mine, conflicted. It's not that simple. My dad's paying half the dues. And his family, in a way. The only one I've got here. I pulled away, pacing the tiny living room, posters of national parks mocking me from the walls. Family doesn't do this. They don't make you hide. He stood, pulling me into his chest, his heart thumping steady against my ear. I'm not hiding. Not from you. His lips brushed my temple. Give me time. Time. The word echoed like a curse. I'd given it plenty years of sidelong glances, of burying feelings under layers of denial. But for him, I'd try. We ended up in bed. Not for sex, but solace, bodies entwined. His fingers tracing the freckles on my shoulders like constellations. Tell me about Ridge Valley, he murmured into the dark. The parts one missed. So I did. Lazy afternoons at Saltwater State Park, skipping college-ruled paper boats on the tide pools. The Christmas dad built us a treehouse, Lila and I stringing lights till our fingers pruned. The night I realized I liked boys, watching Hunter toss a football under floodlights, his silhouette etched in gold. You were my first crush, I admitted, voice small. Thought it was hero worship, till it wasn't. He kissed my collarbone. Mine too, but I was the idiot who looked away. Fall deepened, leaves turning the campus into a blaze of crimson and gold. We carved out routines. Coffee at Vivace before his econ class, my hand brushing his under the table. Hikes in Discovery Park, where we'd fuck against mossy logs, breathless and alive, the sound crashing below like applause. Lila visited once, crashing on my couch, the three of us wandering Pike Place, tossing fish with tourists while she grilled Hunter on his intentions. Hurt him and you're dead, she joked, but her eyes were serious. Thanksgiving loomed, a beacon and a bomb. The Harpers were hosting in Ridge Valley. Full spread, aunts and uncles from Port Angeles, the works. Hunter's folks were flying in from Spokane. His dad a burly contractor who'd always treated me like a third son. The plan: come out together, clean and clear, over pie. But life, that bastard, had other ideas. 2 days before break, Hunter's phone blew up during our study session in the library's third-floor stacks. A labyrinth of dusty tomes on Pacific Rim history. He glanced at the screen, face paling. Shit, it's Wyatt. Again. I reached for him, but he was already standing, pacing between shelves. Voicemail. He hit play, speaker low. Wyatt's voice, slurred and venomous. Heard you're queer now, Kane. Whole house knows. Your dad's gonna love that when I tell him. Fix your shit, or you're out. The words landed like punches. Hunter's fists clenched, knuckles whitening. He wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Out you. I stood, voice steady despite the quake inside. People like him? They live for it. He raked a hand through his hair, the library's hush amplifying his ragged breaths. I can't lose this. Not now. Then fight. I grabbed his arm, turning him to face me. Or we do. His eyes searched mine, wild. What if I can't? What if I'm not? Enough. The vulnerability cracked me open. I pulled him into a shadowed alcove, books shielding us like sentinels, and kissed him fierce, tasting salt. Tears? Sweat? You're enough for me. We broke for air, foreheads touching. Thanksgiving, he whispered. We'll tell everyone. My dad, yours. All of it. I nodded, believing in the fire of that moment. But doubt lingered, a shadow at the edges. Break came too fast. The drive home was a blur of I-5 traffic, Hunter following in his beat-up Tacoma, Lila riding shotgun with me, playlist blasting indie folk that made her sing off-key. Ridge Valley welcomed us with open arms. Evergreens dusted in frost, the air crisp with wood smoke. Mom enveloped us in hugs scented like cinnamon. Dad clapping Hunter on the back with a "good to see you, son." The Kane family arrived that evening, piling out of a rental SUV. Hunter's dad, Harlan, broad as a doorframe with a mustache like a broom. His mom, Tessa, sharp-eyed and warm. Little sister, Becca, 15 and all attitude in ripped jeans. Dinner was chaos. Turkey dry as cardboard, but laughter flowing like gravy. Harlan cornered Hunter by the garage later, voices low. I lingered inside, eavesdropping through the screen door. Proud of you, boy. Scholarship holding? Yeah, Dad. Straight as. A pause. Heard rumors from that Wyatt kid. Fret stuff. You into trouble? My breath caught. Hunter's voice, steady. No trouble. Just figuring myself out. Harlan grunted. As long as it's not derailing you. We raised you right. The words twisted, love laced with condition. I slipped away before Hunter saw me, guilt gnawing. Was I the derailment? Thanksgiving dawned gray, the feast a marathon of sides and stories. Lila and Becca bonded over makeup tutorials, Mom and Tessa trading recipes. Dad pulled me aside by the woodpile, axe in hand. You seem off, son. Everything good with the boyfriend? I froze, splitting a log mid-swing. Boyfriend? He chuckled, wiping sweat. Theo called last week. Said you're mooning over some fella. Happy for you, Eli. Just be careful. Relief flooded, mixed with shock. Theo, that meddler. His name's Hunter. Dad paused, act still. Kane? As in? Yeah. He nodded slow, eyes distant. Always knew that boy had depth. Treats you right. Thinks so. Good. He clapped my shoulder. World's hard enough without love making it harder. Emboldened, we gathered post-dinner in the living room. Fire crackling, pie plates cleared. Hunter and I exchanged glances, now or never. Lila caught my eye, nodding encouragement. Harlan and Tessa on the couch, expectant. Dad. Hunter started, voice like gravel. Mom. Everyone. I've got something to say. The room stilled, even the clock ticking softer. He reached for my hand, lacing fingers. I'm gay. And Elias. He's my boyfriend. Has been, for a bit now. Silence thick as fog. Tessa's eyes welled first, standing to hug him fierce. Oh, honey, we love you. Always. Harlan cleared his throat, face unreadable. That's a lot. He looked at me, then Hunter. You sure, son? This ain't Ridge Valley's way. Hunter's grip tightened. It's my way, Dad. A beat. Then Harlan stood, slow, pulling Hunter into a bear hug. Then it's ours too. But if that frat gives you grief, you walk. Hear me? Tears pricked my eyes. Lila hooped, breaking the tension, and Mom bustled for champagne. To love, in all its forms. Dad raised a glass, gruff. To the boys. It was messy. Questions, awkward laughs. Becca texting her friends in squeals. But it was ours. Later, Hunter and I escaped to the treehouse. Strings of lights still up from childhood. The air cold and close. We made love there, slow and reverent. The world below fading to whispers. I love you, he breathed after, stars wheeling overhead through the slats. Love you too. And in that treehouse, built on dreams, I believed we'd weather anything. But storms don't announce themselves. They gather quiet, then strike. Winter gripped Seattle like a jealous lover, frosting the sound and turning breaths to ghosts. Hunter and I settled into something resembling normal. Dates at the Egyptian Theater, indie flicks with buttery popcorn and his arm around my shoulders. Lazy Sundays at the Fremont Troll, sketching its graffiti while he napped on my lap. The frat drama simmered down after Harlan called Wyatt's dad. A veiled threat wrapped in small-town courtesy. Wyatt slunk away, tail between legs, and Hunter started talking transfer. Maybe to an off-campus house with some queer-friendly athletes he'd met at a GSU mixer. Lila thrived on the gossip, visiting more, turning our apartment into a hub of takeout and truth or dare. Truth? Worst hookup ever? She'd demand, sprawled on the rug, while Theo mixed margaritas strong enough to strip paint. Hunter's answer was always diplomatic. A girl in high school, fumbling like we were defusing a bomb. But mine spilled raw. A faceless guy in a Capitol Hill bathroom, regret hitting harder than the hangover. You're past that now, Lila said one night, linking arms as we walked her to the light rail. Snow flurried, fat and fleeting. You've got the real deal. I glanced back at Hunter, waving from the curb, his scarf a slash of red against the night. Hope so. Christmas break pulled us back to Ridge Valley, a white-knuckle drive through passes slick with ice. The Harpers and Kanes merged holidays, joint feast at our place. Harlan manning the smoker like a general. Gifts exchanged. Mom knit Hunter a scarf in Seahawks colors. Tessa slipped me a journal. For your thoughts, dear. Lila and Becca schemed a road trip to Portland for spring break. All four of us crammed in a Subaru. But under the cheer, fissures formed. Hunter's phone buzzed more. Texts from old Ridge Valley buddies, probing. Heard you're out, man. That's brave. Followed by, you still down for the bachelor party in July? Strippers incoming. He showed me, jaw tight, They mean well. Sort of. Do they? I scrolled, landing on a group chat screenshot from Theo, who'd hacked in via some app wizardry. Emojis of rainbows met with eye rolls. One guy posting a meme. When your bro goes full Elton. Laughter emojis flooded. Hunter snatched the phone. Ignore it. They're idiots. But it hurts you. I touched his cheek, stubble rough. Admit it. He deflated, sinking onto the porch swing. Yeah, feels like losing them. The version of me they knew. I sat beside him, snow creaking under boots. You didn't lose them. You found yourself. Cliché but true. We kissed there, mittens clumsy, the swing groaning like an old friend. New Year dawned with resolutions and rain. Back in Seattle, I dove into a capstone project, mapping climate shifts in the Olympics, while Hunter declared psych, drawn to the unraveling of minds like his own. We volunteered at a youth center in Capitol Hill, reading to queer kids who reminded me of a younger me, wary eyes, tentative smiles. One boy, Jamie, 12 and all limbs, latched onto Hunter during a craft session, paper airplanes littering the floor. You're like a superhero, Jamie said, glue on his chin. Coming out and stuff. Hunter ruffled his hair. Nah, just a guy who got lucky. Later, walking home arm in arm through slushy streets, I teased, superhero cane, cape optional. He grinned, but it faded quick. Jamie asked if it gets easier. I lied, said yeah. Doesn't it? My voice small. He stopped under a street lamp, haloed in mist. With you? Yeah. But the world, it's still a minefield. We made it to March, cherry blossoms tentative along the waterfront. Lila's spring break trip was a whirlwind. Voodoo donuts at dawn, Powell's books till our arms ached, Powell's City of Books till our arms ached. Nights in a cramped Airbnb where Hunter and I shared a pullout, Lila and Becca giggling from the loft. One evening, wandering the Pearl District, we stumbled into a gallery showing queer artists, raw and radiant. A painting stopped us. Two men in shadow, hands reaching but not touching, titled The Space Between. That's us, Hunter whispered, his fingers tight in mine. Before, I corrected. Not anymore. But the space lingered. Back in Seattle, Wyatt resurfaced, not in person but digital venom. Anonymous email to the frat listserv. Kane's a fraud. Hitting on pledges. Protect our brothers. Rumors swirled. Hunter's phone silent from old friends. He withdrew, skipping classes, holing up with protein shakes and push-ups till his muscles screamed. I found him one afternoon in his garage apartment, punching a heavy bag till his knuckles bled. Stop, I said, grabbing the chain. This isn't you. He slumped against the wall, sweat slick, eyes hollow. Who am I then? The guy who lied to his sister's brother for years? The one dragging you through this shit? You're the guy who loves me. I bandaged his hands, antiseptic sharp. And I love you, flaws and all. He pulled me down, burying his face in my neck. Don't let me fuck this up. I won't. Promise. Fierce. April brought sun, rare and golden, thawing the city. We planned a weekend in the San Juans, ferry to Orcas Island, cabin by the sea. Lila gifted the booking. For you lovebirds. The crossing was magic. Porpoises arcing, wind whipping our hair. The cabin was rustic. Wood stove, no TV, waves lapping like lullabies. We hiked Moran State Park, Mount Constitution looming. At the summit, vista unfolding. Cascades, islands like emeralds. I dropped to one knee, not with a ring, but a question. Move in with me? After graduation. Real life, no hiding. His eyes widened, then crinkled. Hell yes. He kissed me senseless, the world spinning below. That night, fire crackling, we made love slow, mapping each scar and sigh. Afterward, tangled in quilts, he confessed. Wyatt texted. Apology, sort of. Said he was processing. Forgive him. Hunter traced my hip. Maybe, if he earns it. Dawn found us on the porch, coffee steaming, seals barking offshore. "This is it," he said. "Our future." I leaned into him, sun warming our faces. Believed it bone deep. But May crept in with clouds. Graduation loomed, mine in envy, his psych. Job offers trickled. Me at a conservation nonprofit in Olympia, him interning at a clinic in Tacoma. Close enough for weekends, far for daily. Lila graduated too, nursing pinned, beaming in her cap. The ceremony was a blur. Caps in the air, families cheering. Post-party at our apartment, packed with Theo's art crowd and Lila's classmates. Hunter pulled me aside in the kitchen, face ashen. "Check your email." It was from Harlan. "Son, need to talk. Urgent. Come home alone." Hunter's voice cracked. "Dad's sick. Cancer. Prostate. Late stage." The party noise faded to roar. I held him as he shook, world fracturing. "We'll go. Together." He nodded, but fear etched deep. What if this changes everything? It won't. Lie maybe, but love's built on them sometimes. We drove to Ridge Valley next morning, rain lashing the Tacoma. Harlan met us at the door, thinner, but standing tall. "Boys." He hugged Hunter fierce, then me. "Glad you're here." Tessa brewed tea, eyes red-rimmed. Scans showed spread lungs, bones. "Chemo starting Monday." "I waited," Harlan said, voice gravel. "Didn't want to ruin your year." Hunter knelt, head on his dad's knee. "You should have told me sooner." "Plenty of time." Harlan's hand in his hair. "But I need a promise. Both of you." We looked up. "Take care of each other. No matter what." His eyes watery. "Proud of you, Hunter. Of this." We promised, tears hot. That night, in Hunter's boyhood room. Posters faded, trophies dusty. We clung like lifelines. "I'm scared," he whispered. "Me too." My lips on his pulse. "But we're in it." Summer stretched, chemo cycles marking time. I deferred my job, crashing in Ridge Valley, helping Tessa with meals, driving Harlan to appointments. Hunter worked the mill part-time, hands blistered, coming home to collapse beside me on the sagging couch. Lila visited, bringing Becca. The girls a whirlwind of normalcy, movie nights, esmores by the fire pit. One evening, Harlan called us to the garage, tools laid out like talismans. "Building something," he said. "For you too." A hope chest, cedar-scented, carved with interlocking roots. Inside, letters from his youth, hints of a college love lost to war. "Wasn't brave enough," he admitted. "Don't make my mistake." We didn't cry then. Later, alone, we did fierce cleansing. "Your dad's a gift," I said. Hunter nodded. "Fierce. So are you." But betrayal brews in silence. Late July, Wyatt showed. Unannounced at the mill, clapping Hunter on the back like old times. "Heard about your old man. Tough break." Hunter stiffened. "What do you want?" "Clear the air." Wyatt's grin, oily. "Frats voting on alumni status. Yours hangs if you don't. Distance from the fag shit." The word landed like a slap. Hunter's fists clenched. "Get out." Wyatt laughed. "Your call." But blood's thicker. He left, but poison lingered. Hunter withdrew again, snapping at Tessa, skipping sessions with me. "It's nothing," he'd say, but his eyes lied. I confronted him by the straight, waves churning. "He's in your head. Let me in." He exploded. "You don't get it. This us, it's easy for you. Out and proud, family on board. Me? Dad's dying, friends bailing, and now this. Easy." Hurt flared. "I've lost people too. For being me." He deflated, sinking to the sand. "I'm sorry. Just terrified of losing more." I sat beside him, hand on his knee. "Then fight with me, not against." He leaned in, apology in his kiss. But the crack was there, widening. August heat wave baked the peninsula, chemo-sapping Harlan's strength. One night, fever high, he gripped Hunter's hand. "Don't wait. Life's short." Hunter nodded, tears tracking. Next morning he proposed, not grand but real. On the beach at low tide, ring from Tessa's antique shop, simple silver. Marry me? When the time's right. Yes. Joy, tempered by shadow. But Wyatt's shadow grew. Emails to Harlan, anonymous, vicious. Your son's a disgrace. Ruining the family name. Harlan deleted them, but doubt seeded. Climax brewed in September, leaves turning traitor. Harlan rallied for a weekend, family barbecue, Kane's and Harper's merged. Lila grilled veggies, Dad smoked ribs. Laughter, fleeting. Then Wyatt crashed it, bottle in hand, old times slurred. Kane heard the news. Engagement, to him, drunk courage. Harlan stood, frail but fierce. My son's business. Wyatt sneered. Town talk says otherwise. Pervert influence. Hunter lunged, fist connecting, crack of jaw. Chaos. Dad pulling him back, Tessa screaming, Lila dialing cops. Wyatt spat blood. See? Violent queer. I'll bury you. He left in cuffs, but damage done. Harlan collapsed that night, pneumonia from weakened lungs. Hospital tubes, beeps. Hunter blamed himself. If I'd stayed quiet. No. I held him in the waiting room, sterile chill. This is Wyatt's poison. Harlan lingered 2 weeks, fading gentle. Last words, to us both. Love fierce. Forgive easy. Funeral was gray, Ridge Valley Church packed. Mill workers, neighbors, even Wyatt in back, eyes down. Hunter spoke, voice breaking. Dad taught me strength. In love, most of all. After, at the reception, Wyatt approached, sober, contrite. I was wrong. Scared, stupid. Harlan was a good man. Hunter's jaw tight. Leave. For good. He did. But trust? Shattered. Fall term started, me in Olympia, Hunter Tacoma. Hour drive, feeling oceans. Calls grew sparse, texts curt. Tired, he'd say. I filled days with fieldwork. Mapping trails scarred by fire. Mirroring my heart. November, Lila called. Check on him. He's spiraling. I drove, rain sheeting. His apartment, takeout boxes, unwashed sheets. Miss you, he admitted, pulling me close. But in his eyes, ghosts. Dad's gone. Because of me. No. Cancer. Wyatt. Same thing. He pushed away. I can't. Breathe with this guilt. Fight it. With me. He shook his head. Need space. The word gutted. Space? After everything. Temporary. Lie we both knew. I left. Heart lead. Weeks blurred, work. Hikes alone. Theo's pep talks. Lila mediated. He's grieving. Give time. But December brought truth. I found out via mutual friend. Hunter at a bar in Tacoma. Arm around a guy. Brunette. Built. Laughing like I used to make him. Betrayal. Sharp as Wyatt's fist. I drove there, storm raging. Found them in a booth. Hunter's hand on the guy's thigh. Elias. Guilt flashed. Who's he? Voice steel. Friend. From clinic. But eyes lied. I walked out, rain swallowing sobs. Texted Lila. It's over. Her reply, wait. Talk. Too late. Heart fractured. I drove to Ridge Valley. Mom's arms waiting. Oh, honey. Christmas without him, ghost of cheer. Harlan's chest on the mantle, roots entwined. January, rock bottom. I volunteered more, mentored Jamie, now out to his folks. Love's worth the hurt, he said, wise beyond years. Hunter called February, voice wrecked. I fucked up. That guy. Rebound. Empty. Doesn't fix it. Cold, but cracking. I know. But I love you. Always. Pause. Prove it. He did slow. Therapy twice weekly. Apologies to Lila, to Theo. Drove to Olympia weekends, hands clean, eyes clear. Spring thaw mirrored us. Hikes again tentative. Forgive? He asked, by a waterfall mist rainbowed. Not yet, but close. Summer 1 year from proposal. We returned to Orcus, cabin waiting. There, on the porch, seals barking, he knelt again. Second chance. Tears. Yes. Not perfect, scars linger, Wyatt's shadow in doubts. But we build. Olympia apartment. Shared. Plants on sills. Lila bridesmaid. Becca flower girl. Future wedding. Small. Beachside. Humanistic close. Love's not absence of storm, but dancing in rain. Compassion for the broken. Freedom in truth. Identity forged in fire. We choose each other daily. Roots entwined. Growing. Months ground on. Grief a tide. High, low, relentless. Harlan's absence echoed in the mill's hum. Tessa selling the house. Moving to Seattle for grandkids that might never come. Hunter threw into clinic work, counseling at-risk youth, coming home late with stories of triumphs and heartbreaks that mirrored his own. I supported, but distance gnawed. Olympia-Tacoma commute, 2 hours round trip, 8 evenings. We'd meet halfway at a diner in DuPont, pie and coffee. His foot hooking mine under the table. Miss this, he'd say. Me too. But July heat brought Wyatt back, not physical but viral. A podcast, local true crime vibe, Ridge Valley Secrets. Anonymous source spilling on the queer scandal at the funeral, painting Hunter as aggressor, Harlan's death stress-induced. Listeners ate it up, comments vicious. Small towns die from the shit. Hunter laughed it off at first, but it festered. They're saying I killed him. They? I pulled him close in our Tacoma crash pad, a studio above a laundromat. Liars. He pushed away. Feels true. Therapy helped, but not enough. August, he ghosted a weekend, text. Need air. I found him at the beach, bottle empty, waves mocking. Talk, I demanded. I can't be this burden. Eyes red. You deserve better. You're not. Kiss, desperate. But seed planted. September, I caught a whiff, cologne on his jacket, not his. Confronted, he swore. Client hug. Nothing. Trust frayed. Climax hit October. Leaves blood red. Lila's wedding. To a nurse from Tacoma. Sweet guy named Cole. Rehearsal dinner at a vineyard near Olympia. Twinkle lights and toasts. Hunter arrived late. Tie loose. Breath minty. During dances, he vanished 30 minutes. I searched, found him in the vines with a groomsman, lips locked, hands wandering. Rage blinded. Hunter. They sprang apart. Groomsman fled. Hunter. Guilty. Eli, wait. I swung, fist glancing his cheek. Fuck you. Lila found me later, sobbing in the parking lot. What happened? Betrayed. Raw. She hugged. Go home. I'll handle. He texted apologies, hundreds. Mistake. Drunk. Love you. Blocked. November isolation. Work in forests. Alone with trees that didn't lie. Mom visited. Pies and wisdom. Forgiveness is choice, not feeling. Can't. Try. December, he showed Ridge Valley, snow deep. Knelt in the drive, ring glinting. I broke us. Let me fix. Why him? Weak. Thought it proved I wasn't. Broken. You are. Bitter. We all are. He nodded. Teach me to heal? Pause. Heart warring. One chance. Spring rebuilt, therapy couples, weekends intentional. Betrayal scarred, but compassion grew. For his pain, my anger. Summer wedding, ours, small, beach at Dungeness Spit. Vows. In storms, I choose you. Lila, maid of honor. To love unbroken. Not perfect, but human, free, true. Autumn winds stripped the trees bare, mirroring the raw edges of our lives. Harlan's chemo was a gauntlet. Good days of fishing from the dock. Bad ones of nausea and night sweats. Tessa became a warrior, schedules pinned to the fridge like battle maps. Hunter and I tag-teamed, me from Olympia on Fridays, him daily, his internship flexing to afternoons off. One good day, Harlan taught us fly fishing on the Solduk, river murmuring secrets. Patience, he said, line arcing graceful. Like love. Hunter's cast tangled, laugh rueful. Working on it. Harlan's eyes twinkled. You're doing fine, son. That night, around the fire pit, Harlan pulled out old photos. Hunter as a tyke, gap-toothed. Me and Lila at the fair. You too, he said, voice thick. Always stuck together. Like roots. We toasted with hot toddies, steam rising. Later, in bed, Hunter's arms tight. He's fighting for us. He is. But bad days mounted. November, infection landed him in Swedish. IVs beeping. We camped in the family room, sleeping bags on linoleum, holding vigil. Lila flew in, Becca too, the girls braiding Harlan's thinning hair, telling jokes that coaxed weak chuckles. Wyatt's shadow loomed then. Letter to the house. Condolences, but your son's lifestyle stressed him out. Tessa burned it, but Harlan saw, face crumpling. Ignore the fools, he rasped. Hunter raged in the hall, punching wall. I'll kill him. I pulled him off. Don't. For Dad. Christmas was hushed. Tree small, lights soft. Harlan home, frail in his chair. Gifts simple. Book on trees for me. A watch for Hunter. Time's precious. His words hung heavy. New Year, he rallied, insisting on a drive to Hurricane Ridge. Snow-capped peaks, air diamond sharp. See that? Harlan pointed, bundled in the passenger seat. World keeps turning. So will we. Back home, he worsened. February scan. Spread. Palliative shift. Hunter broke in the bathroom. Sobs echoing. I held him under the spray, water hot. He's proud. Of you. March, Becca's birthday cake. Balloons. Harlan sang off-key, effort monumental. Love you, kiddo. She hugged him gentle. Love you more. April showers brought no flowers for us. Harlan slipped into sleep, then coma. We gathered Harper's, Kane's, Lila from her new job in Seattle. Vigil, hands clasped in circle. He went April 15th. Cherry blossoms mocking outside the window. Peaceful, Tessa said. But Hunter shattered, keening low. Funeral planning blurred days. Church in Port Angeles. Plot by the bay. Eulogy, Hunter, voice steady till it wasn't. Dad showed me love's not conditional. It's the root that holds. Crowd murmured approval. But Wyatt lurked rear pew, suit ill-fit. After, at the graveside, drizzle falling, he approached as folks milled. Sorry for your loss, Kane. Hunter's eyes flashed. Leave. Just wanted to say. You've said enough. Harlan's brother, Uncle Ray, stepped up, burly. Go, boy. Before I make you. Wyatt slunk away, but not before a smirk challenge. Reception at the VFW hall. Casseroles and condolences. Tessa thanked guests, gracious. Hunter and I slipped out to the deck, overlooking the strait, ferries ghosting. I can't do this, he whispered. The emptiness. I pulled him close, rain mingling tears. You can. We can. But emptiness grew. May we scattered Harlan's ashes, half in the river, half at the mill. Ritual complete, but void remained. Hunter dove into work, 12-hour shifts, coming home hollow-eyed. Helping others helps, he said. I nodded, but worried. Olympia job demanding, field seasons long. Calls short, love you, tired. June wedding season reminded. Lila's big day, July 20th. Vineyard in Walla Walla. Be my best man? She asked, eyes hopeful. Hunter agreed, but distraction mounted. July heat wave. Wyatt's podcast dropped. Tragic end to Ridge Valley patriarch. Son's secret life the final straw? Listens spiked, locals buzzing. Hunter ignored, but I saw the toll. appetite gone, sleep fitful. Rehearsal dinner. Wine flowing, toasts warm. Cole, Lila's fiancé, clapped Hunter's back. Brother now. Hunter smiled, but eyes distant. During the toast, he nailed it, witty, loving. But later, as music swelled, he vanished. I searched kitchen, restrooms, vines, shadows. There, him and a groomsman, Ethan, lips locked, hands urgent. World stopped. Hunter. They parted, Ethan fleeing. Hunter. Flushed. Eli, it's not. Save it. I stormed off, Lila trailing. What the hell? Drunk mistake, but voice weak. Lila slapped his arm. Fix this, or lose him. He tried flowers calls showing at my hotel. Grief, pressure, stupid, betrayal, packed. I can't. Drive home alone, radio static. Heart in shards. July wedding. I stood best man. Smile plastered, Hunter absent. Family emergency. Lila covered. She danced with Cole, radiant, but pulled me aside. He loves you. Forgive. Not yet. August separation. No contact. Work consumed. Mapping burned forests. Ashes like my soul. Theo visited. Time heals, but don't wait forever. Mom wrote letters. Compassion, Eli. For both. September, Hunter's email therapy. Learning. Miss you. Replied, good. Me too. October, coffee meet, neutral ground, Olympia Cafe. He looked wrecked, thinner, stubble silvered. I'm sorry. Truly. Why, Ethan? Proof I could feel something. Anything. After Dad. Pain doesn't justify hurt. No. I's pleading. Can we try? Hesitant. Slow. November reconciliation. Tentative dates. Walks without touch. December. First kiss, snow falling, gentle. But trust? Rebuilt brick by brick. Winter 2026 settled heavy. Snow blanketing the peninsula like a shroud over old wounds. Hunter and I danced a delicate waltz. Dinners in Tacoma. My hand in his across Formica tables. Nights in my Olympia apartment. Bodies close but barriers up. Sex replaced by talks till dawn. I hated myself. He confessed one night. Fire crackling in the grate I'd installed. A nod to Ridge Valley comforts. After Dad, everything felt tainted. Like I poisoned the air. You didn't. I traced his knuckles, scarred from that punch long ago. Cancer's the villain, not you. He nodded, but doubt lingered. A ghost in his eyes. Therapy continued. Virtual sessions with a counselor specializing in grief and sexuality. Her voice calm through the screen. Betrayal stems from fear. Forgive yourself first. Easier said. Lila mediated, her marriage to Cole a beacon, house in Seattle, talks of babies. You two inspire, she said over brunch at their place. Bagels and lox. Baby name books stacked. Flawed, but fighting. Hunter squeezed my knee under the table. Trying. Spring brought green shoots, literal in my conservation work, planting seedlings in fire-scarred slopes. Figurative in us. We hiked the Olympic trails, packs light, conversations heavier. Remember the treehouse? He asked, pausing at a vista, evergreens marching to the sea. How could I forget? Smile faint. I want that again. Us building something. Prove it daily. He did small acts. Coffee run before my dawn shifts. Notes in my lunch. Thinking of your laugh. Summer, we took the San Juan's trip again. Cabin waiting like a promise. No proposal this time, just presence. Kayaking the bays, spotting orcas breaching, their calls echoing deep. One evening, sunset painting the water gold, he opened up about Wyatt. Saw him in town last month. Apologized. For real. Said the podcast was regret. Booze-fueled. Forgave him. Not yet. Mirror to us. But, closer. I nodded, paddle dipping. Growth. Fall term, he started grad school counseling masters at UW Tacoma. I advanced to project lead, team small but passionate. Weekends merged, his campus visits, my field invites. But old fears nipped. Texts from his clinic buddies. Boys' night. At sea, paranoia flaring. Trust, he reminded. During a fight over nothing, dishes clattering. I'm here. I know. But scars itched. Climax brewed in November. Anniversary of Harlan's death. Vigil at the river. Lanterns floating like stars. Tessa joined. Becca now driving, taller. Dad'd be proud, she said, hugging Hunter. He is. Voice thick. After, at Tessa's new condo in Port Orchard, wine flowed. Talk turned to future. House? Kids? Adoption whispers. Hunter's face shadowed. What if I'm not dad material? After everything. Tessa touched his hand. You are. Because you doubt. I agreed, but later in bed he confessed. Ethan wasn't the only one. Summer after the wedding, one-night stand. Clinic stress. World tilted. Who? Doesn't matter. Eyes down. Thought you were done with me. Wanted to feel. Wanted. Betrayal, second wave, drowned. You lied. Again. I was ashamed. Sob breaking. Trying to protect us. By lying. I stood, pacing the guest room, moonlight slanting. That's the poison, Hunter. The one Wyatt planted. He knelt, grabbing my hands. I know. End it if you must. Tears hot. I can't. But I need time. Real time. Separation to me to Olympia alone, him to therapy double time. Lila furious, idiot brother. But mediated calls. He's breaking, Eli. Save him. Mom's wisdom. Love's not blind. It's brave. December. Rock bottom for him. Lost job offer. Clinic citing personal issues. Drunk dial. I need you. Went. Found him on the beach, bottle half, waves roaring. Why? I demanded, dragging him up. Because I'm broken. But I want to be whole. With you. Pulled him to the car, drove through storm. Home, sobered him with coffee. Talk. No more secrets. Promise. January thaw, rebuild 3. Couples therapy, in-person, digging roots. Boundaries, the counselor urged. And grace. Grace came slow. February, Valentine's. Picnic in the woods. No grand gestures. Just us. I choose you, he said, sandwich wrapper crinkling. Me too. March, Lila announced pregnancy. Aunt Eli, joy shared. April, Harlan's birthday. Planted a cedar in his honor, roots deep. For legacy, Tessa said. Hunter's hand in mine. Ours too. May job back, new clinic, queer-focused. Fitting, he grinned. Summer heat, we planned house hunt in Lacey, Midway Point. Closing August. But test. Becca's graduation party, Ridge Valley. Wyatt invited, town small, forgiveness push. He approached, hands out. Water under. Happy for you. Hunter stiff. Thanks. Mean it. Yeah. Lost my dad too last year. Perspective. Handshake. Closure. July, house keys in hand, 2-bedroom, yard for garden. Moving day, Lila and Cole hauling boxes. Theo art for walls. Night 1. Bed in empty room, he made love slow, eyes locked. Home. Yes. Fall 2026 painted the world in fire. Leaves, sunsets, our renewed passion. The Lacey house became sanctuary. Kitchen herbs thriving on the sill. Living room shelves groaning with books on ecology and psych. Hunter's grad classes filled mornings, my field work afternoons. Evenings we cooked. Pasta from scratch, wine from Walla Walla, laughter echoing off bare walls. Lila's pregnancy progressed. Ultrasounds shared over video. It's a boy. Naming him Harlan Cole. Tears, collective. Becca visited, college-bound to UW, rooming with a queer activist. Uncle Hunter's stories inspired, she teased. But depth came in quiet. Therapy ongoing, solo and joint. Identities fluid. Hunter shared one session, voice steady. Mine's gay, partner, healer. No apologies. I nodded. Proud. Winter holidays. First as homeowners. Tree in the bay window, ornaments from Ridge Valley, Harlan's fishing lures as hooks. Tessa stayed. Becca too. Lila waddled in, belly round. Dinner. Turkey. Toasts to absent but present. New Year, we set intentions, not resolutions but anchors. Travel, I said. National parks, all 50. Family, he added. Build ours. Spring 2027. Lila birthed Harlan. Tiny, fierce, crying lusty. We held him first, after parents, Hunter's eyes wet. Grandpa's namesake. Summer wedding fever. Ours, planned small but swelling. Beach at Dungeness, June 15th. Invites. Harper's, Kane's, Theo with boyfriend, Lila and Cole, clinic friends. No Wyatt boundary held. Prep was chaos. Suits tailored in Seattle, vows written in margins. Mine. You cornered me once, in a kitchen of lies. Now, I choose the truth of us. Storms, scars, sunrises. His. I admitted love too late, hurt too deep, but here, I vow forever. Compassion in conflict, freedom in fear, identity intertwined. Ceremony. Sandworm, waves chorus. Theo officiated, dramatic flourish. Rings exchanged, cedar inlays, roots etched. Kiss salt-tanged, cheers rising. Reception. Bonfire, esmores, dances barefoot. Lila, baby on hip, toasted. To brothers, blood and chosen. May your love echo, dads. Tessa cried. Becca snapped pics. Night deepened. Stars wheel, we slipped away to a cliffside cabin. Bodies familiar but new, husbands now. Mr. and Mr. Kane Harper, he murmured, fingers laced. Hyphenate. I laughed. Harper Kane. Fall life layered. Harlan toddled. First steps at our house. Hunter's thesis on queer grief, published small press. My project funded reforesting Olympics, legacy. Winter challenge. My diagnosis, testicular cancer, early. Fear mirrored his old. We'll fight, he said, holding scan. Chemo brief, support vast. Lila's meals, Tessa's prayers, Theo's playlists. Remission by spring, stronger. 2028. Road trip. Yellowstone. Geysers steaming like rebirth. Campsites, tents close, stories swapped. This is freedom, he said under big sky. Yes. Humanistic close. Life's tapestry. Betrayals thread with joys, conflicts with compassions. We loved through, identities affirmed, truer for trials. Message. In America's vast heart, from small towns to cities, love demands courage, offers grace. Choose it, always. Dusk on a ridge, arms linked, future vast. Backhand index pointing right, the end. Word count. 987.